everyone, it's Sydnee Falkner from Million Dollar Secret. Yes, that girl, the one you love to love, the one you love to hate, the one you can't get enough of, and the cat with 9 lives. If you thought the drama was over, think again. You're not going to want to miss this finale or Reality Art Pod review. It's going to be the juiciest one yet. We're going to be talking secrets, shade, and all the moments Netflix should have shown. Get your popcorn, grab your wine, and get ready to be on the edge of your seat to the very last moment. Let's unpack the chaos, shall we?
Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about episodes 7 and 8, the final episodes of Netflix's Million Dollar Secret Season 1. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist, where you can catch up on my recaps this season. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. My videos aren't meant to replace the original content, so I encourage you to check out Million Dollar Secret on Netflix to enjoy and form your own opinion. But let's dive into it, starting with episode 7, titled A Tale of Two Sisters, which picks back up with players having eggies for breakfast the next day. Tensions are still high between Kyle and Sam, with Kyle sharing he wants to win the money to give back to his mom. Peter warns them that the stakes are high. If the new millionaire completes their agenda this round and survives, they'll get a kill shot that they can use after the elimination to snipe any other player out of the game. One random player will also get a clue in their box to the millionaire's identity. So they head to their rooms, and Kara finds the money in her box, making her the new millionaire. Sam gets the clue that the millionaire has 2 sisters. This clue could have been way worse for Kara. It could have said the millionaire has the same job as SpongeBob. Peter meets with Kara, who gets really emotional about the money, sharing that her dad has been battling cancer. She wants to use the money to help her family. Peter gives Kara her agenda. Before the elimination, she needs to get 3 people to get out of their seat and sit in their place. If she doesn't succeed, she'll have 2 votes against her. Peter asks Kara to practice her lying skills. She tells him she's never been arrested, implying she has. The players are released back into the stag. Kara quickly gets her first point, getting Sydnee to give her a seat by the fire. Sam pulls Kyle aside, telling him that she's done being disrespected by him. She asks Kyle if he has sisters, and when he says he has 1, she tells him that the millionaire has 2 sisters. Sam shares that Jamie has already told her she has 2 sisters, and she enlists Kyle to help her find out if the other players have sisters or not. Longtime allies, Sydnee and Jamie meet to share information and band together. Sydnee tries to rope in Corey, warning him to keep an eye out for quiet players like Kara, which sketches Corey out, so Corey runs this right back to Kara, who plays it cool and keeps Corey's trust. Sam then meets with Kara and asks her if she has sisters. Kara lies, saying she has 1 sister, which was really smart, and Sam tells Kara about the sister clue. The players then change into their robes for a spa day with Peter. They head outside to a gorgeous Servine ice sculpture, and Peter sorts them into 3 teams. Teams are Corey and Kara, Jamie and Sydnee, and Sam and Kyle. 1 player from each team will lay face down on their massage table, while their partner will plunge for icy stones in the pool. They'll have to stack 9 stones in 5 spots on their partner's back. The first team to finish will earn access to the trophy room. Corey, Sydnee, and Kyle are the divers. This is about to be a showdown, and they get started with Corey and Kara getting to a quick lead, but Jamie is using her yoga skills to stay still and help Sydnee as much as possible. It's close, but Corey doesn't have enough stones, and Sydnee and Jamie win the daily challenge and gain access to the trophy room. Players decompress in the hot tub, where Kara gets Corey to switch places with her, getting her second point in the task undetected. Sydnee and Jamie head to the trophy room, where they have to decide who between them gets the clue. Sydnee, never having gotten a clue, is the only real argument between them, so they choose Sydnee to get the clue. While they're in there, the other players round up, and Sam tells Corey about the sister clue. Corey then offers up to the group that he has a sister and a half-sister, putting himself as a potential suspect. Kara then switches places with Kyle, achieving her agenda and earning her kill shot. In the trophy room, Peter tells Sydnee that her clue is that there is no clue because there already is a clue in place. What the hell? At least she gets an agenda. If Sydnee can get 2 players to ask her if she's okay, she can earn immunity from both the vote and the kill shot. So Sydnee stumbles back into the room out of breath. Nobody cares if she's okay. She tells them a fake clue that the current millionaire has never had the money before. This was a pretty good fake clue to come up with, as it's also true. Later, Sydnee has a dramatic fake fall that Sam knows is fake, but Sam asks her if she's okay, getting Sydnee her first point. Everyone can tell that Sydnee is acting suspicious, but she gets Corey to complete her agenda by telling him, "You're not going to ask me if I'm okay?" So he asks her if she's okay, making her safe from both eliminations. Ahead of elimination, Sydnee and Jamie plan to eliminate Kara, because Sydnee feels like Kara has played too under the radar. For the rest of the group who knows about Sam's clue, it would be hard to get them to change their minds. They head to the elimination dinner, where Kara plans to target Sydney with her kill shot, but she thinks Sydney got immunity and may need to re-strategize. is. Peter tells them that the millionaire was successful and won their kill shot, which raises tensions leading into their conversation. Sydnee starts things off calling Kara out, but Kara keeps her cool about it. Kyle even praises Kara for her demeanor, saying that if she was the millionaire, they would never even know it. And Kyle lays out that the only two suspects are Jamie and Corey. Jamie presses the group asking for the other clue, so Sam shares her clue about the two sisters. Jamie knows she's cooked. She remembers telling Sam about her sisters. And in that moment, I would down my Pinot as well. Jamie emotionally promises the group that she's not the millionaire, but this was also obvious. The real suspense here is who Kara's putting her kill shot on. Peter reveals that the group voted for Jamie, who gives positive final words and reveals that she's not the millionaire. And Peter also reveals that the kill shot was used on Kyle. The two eliminated players say their goodbyes and leave together, so let's talk about these two players. Starting with Jamie, who had a quiet edit from the beginning. All of her B-roll is her doing yoga around the stag, which signals to us that this person must be very mindful, very demure. She's probably the most complicated character from a storytelling perspective. She's one of the people Lauren comes out to about being the millionaire, and gets very annoyed that Lauren ruined her dessert. One thing we don't take into account is how actually delicious that dessert probably was. She continues to be annoyed with Lauren, which people online took issue with, but have you ever just been annoyed with someone in your own lives? Like, can you really not relate? In that moment, does it make you a bully? Get real. Jamie's game goes off the rails when Sam puts the kill shot on Lydia. Lydia then comes for Jamie, calling her pretentious, which puts Jamie on the back foot, and she's being accused of lying for the whole next round. In that moment, she has the choice to either lie down and take it or defend herself and look defensive, which is a lose-lose. But at least she chose the option to defend herself so she could make good TV and have some self-respect. She made good fun in the eating challenge, licking the plate, which was funny. Then Corey clears her name, which really saved her and gave her an opportunity to start fresh. But then in this finale, the show really threw her under the bus again, giving Sam, who she'd already told about her two sisters, that clue. She was already going to be outnumbered in this vote, and they gave Sydnee the obvious immunity, but she handled this finale round really well, seeming to see the writing on the wall. She gave the best reality TV drama this season, and let's not forget that's why we enjoyed this genre. And we lose Kyle here, who from the start proved to be great at challenges, with his finest work being that whiskey sucking stunt. He had a bit of a quiet edit, with them not sharing his motivations until his boot episode, though he was doing a lot in the game, bouncing between the cool kids and the underdogs. I feel like if he were the winner, they would have fleshed out his game more in the edit to help us understand his moves. But we did see that he was a nice, loyal guy. They did show lots of B-roll shots of him being eye candy by the pool, or really at any given opportunity, which will greatly serve him, as a big part of his Instagram is fitness. I like that he wasn't too nicey-nicey. He's not afraid of confrontation, calling Phil out at the round table and standing up for Sae Young. Ultimately, his honesty could have been his downfall, as he was complimenting Kara at the final round table, and eliminating him was a good move for her in that moment. I'd love to see him on another show. Luckily, the Netflix verse is expanding. If Battle Camp gets a season 2, we need him on. Following the elimination, the final 4 round up, Sam is convinced that Corey is the millionaire, and at this point, Corey thinks Sam is lying about the sister clue, which leads us to episode 8, the finale titled Get Rich or Lie Trying, with a really formidable final 4. Sam and Corey are at odds with each other, and Sydnee tells us she's on her own and suspicious of Kara. They head to breakfast, where they cheers mimosas and are eating bread. Just bread? Where's the caviar? Peter tells them there's no trophy room this round. There will be a 2-on-2 competition where the winning team will decide one player from the losing team to eliminate. Sydnee brings Kara close, telling Kara that she's targeting the other two and that she wants to work with Kara in the challenge, but Kara is not buying it. Corey tells us the only person he trusts is Kara, and Sam shares with us that the money would help her with her fertility treatments. At night, alarms go off. There's been a security breach. The money is in jeopardy. They head to the trophy room, where each team will have one player navigating a laser maze, wearing a mask where they can't see the lasers. Their partner needs to guide them by calling out directions. If they hit the lasers, they have a time penalty where they need to stay still. Both players need to take a turn in each roll, and the first team to get both of their boxes will win. The teams are Corey and Sam, and Sydnee and Kara. They show them all the laser maze in advance, which was questionable. Kara tells us she's decided to throw the challenge and is purposefully giving Sydnee bad directions. This challenge looks like so much fun. Corey keeps making mistakes, but Kara really sandbags her team and throws the challenge. This team could have really queened out, but this was queen on queen violence, I fear. But I guess that's chess, baby. Following the challenge, players are all emotional. Sam and Corey are still convinced that each other are the millionaire. Kara comes out to Corey that she threw the challenge to get Sydnee out, a move I guess intended to tell him that she was trying to save him, but it makes Corey suspicious of Kara, and she regrets telling him. They head to elimination and are told that if the millionaire survives, they'll have an advantage in the next round. Sydnee starts things off with an earnest plea, and Kara cries to the group, promising that she's played an honest game and would never lie to them. Sam asks Kara what she would do if she was chosen to be millionaire. Kara says she would just confess instantly and wouldn't be able to handle it. They get voting, and in the end, Corey and Sam choose to eliminate Sydnee, which makes sense. There wasn't enough evidence either way, and they chose to keep their friend, especially knowing there's a challenge coming up, which Sydnee's great at. But Sydnee reveals her box box to be empty, saying she looks like $1 million but doesn't have it. Let's talk about Sydnee, who was shown early to be lying about her job, but the show didn't tell us her job, which made me feel like she was going to be like a brain surgeon, only for her to eventually say she works in medical sales. As we've learned on Survivor, being in sales could make you a threat in the game, so I see why she was keeping it from them. I just don't know why the show was keeping it from us. Her story really starts when she has her rivalry with Lauren, which started with Lauren not being 100% honest about her tasks and led to a tiff that lasted a whole day and left the house split between them. Sydnee was shown to be the person who came up with the idea to vote out Lauren, even though they knew Lauren wasn't the millionaire, which was game-changing thinking and showed her to be a formidable player. Winning the first 4 challenges and having her showmance with Chris, then voting Chris out, was all quite Parvati-esque, iconic behavior. She was shown as the leader of her alliance, who were outnumbered by the underdogs, and had she not been a great player, she would have been out way sooner. Of everyone on this cast, she has the highest chance to come back for another show like Battle Camp. The dynamic with her and Chris could be fun to bring them back together. She's so marketable, and I think if Netflix is smart, they'd hold on to her. As a thank you to her for coming on my channel, I'm donating to her favorite charity, Cruises Crusaders, and I'll include their info below for you to donate as well and help a dog find a good home. So we're down to a final 3 with a really interesting dynamic between them. Corey and Sam both are sus of each other, and Cara has set herself up to have them fight over her love. For their challenge, they need to thread 5 needles in the shortest amount of time. The player with the worst time will have a disadvantage in the final mission. Cara's advantage is she'll start with 1 needle already threaded. I don't have much to say about this challenge. This was so boring and anticlimactic. Maybe next season in the finale, the player who watches paint dry the fastest will win an advantage. This was more of a challenge to the viewers, honestly. Peter reveals their placements and their times. Cara completed this in first with a whole minute ahead of Corey and 2 minutes ahead of Sam, who ends up getting the disadvantage. To me, revealing the times specifically made it so blatant that Cara was the millionaire. They move right on to a final game of wits, each standing behind their boxes. How this works is, for coming in second, Corey will get to privately switch 2 of the boxes around. Then first place finisher Cara will get to switch the boxes a second time. Sam won't get to make a move, but will be able to convince and sway them either way. The player with the money in their box at the end of all the swapping will get to keep the money. Ahead of the game, Cara tells us she wants to try to get Corey to take her box. So when they get started, she quickly starts questioning Corey, leading him to thinking Cara is the millionaire. He then turns to Sam to throw Cara off. Sam and Corey are squabbling about Corey having sisters, and then Corey gets his turn to swap the boxes in private. He decides to swap boxes with Cara, putting the million in his box. Cara then takes her turn. While she's choosing, she gets emotional. I was so nervous watching this. She makes her decision, but they keep it secret until the big reveal. Peter brings them all back in and asks them to open their boxes all at once. In the end, Cara swapped back with Corey and won the $1 million, with Peter telling her she played a perfect game of trust, intuition, and deception. Peter reveals that Cara has 2 sisters, and Peter tells Sam not to act shocked because she's a cop, exposing everyone's lies as it cuts to black, ending the season. So let's talk about these players, starting with Sam, who had constant explanation of her gameplay from the beginning, being onto Sydnee for lying and Lauren for acting weird and hugging everyone. She put herself on rocky ground early, excusing herself from the game because she wanted a nap, but strategically, overall, she had great moves, and she was the person the show went to explain the votes in the Lauren boot, on top of explaining it to the rest of the group. She was down to clown with the strategy, and multiple times was trying to work with the house target or the millionaire to target other players, to mostly non-success, but she tried it. She was the first millionaire I felt to be truly successful, nailing her task where she asked about the ringing. There was some sus on her that she was lying about her job. When she got the kill shot, she chose to eliminate her ally Lydia to cover her tracks, a smart move that most players, including Boston Rob, would never do, really framing Jamie and getting the attention off her for a while. The 911 misdemeanor clue threw another wrench in it. She found a way to deflect it onto Chris, and when she finished her reign as millionaire, she never came clean about it, and they really never cared about it again when the money moved to someone new. While Corey was still suspicious of her, her gameplay and relationship with Cara took her to the final, where she lost this challenge, threading the needle. It was probably for the best that she had the disadvantage because she had no agency in the final decision, and she was so misled by Cara Giesling that she avoids making a decision that would make her look silly. She was one of the more fun characters here. There's plenty of room for her on a return to grow. And Corey, who was playing a clean game in the beginning, being a friend to all and even choosing to be honest about the trophy room clue that even implicated himself to be one of the options. We learned his motivations to help his mom out, and I don't consider anyone really a winner contender until the show tells us why they want to win. In the second batch of episodes, he decides to start throwing Sydnee under the bus to protect himself, which was smart because there were only 3 options in that round. In the same round, Lydia brings him the idea to target Sydnee, but he's not down. Would he only be down if it was his idea? Showing that he wants to be a leader and not follow others, even if he has the same idea. His most impressive moment was nailing his agenda with the 911 misdemeanor clue. He really ate that, but coming into this finale, he volunteered the information about having 2 sisters, implicating himself again when he really didn't need to, which hung over his head for the whole 2 episodes. Ultimately, while I see see him having potential as a great player. He was really set in his way of thinking, and while being a leader, led himself to make pretty bad calls strategically, resulting in Kara saying she knows how to read him and predicting his moves in the final mission. And finally, Kara, who the show sprinkled in bits about her life throughout all of the episodes, sharing that she works as a cook, she lost her brother, the story of her marriage. Even in this episode, we learned about her dad. I was convinced from the beginning that she was the winner, as I thought the editing was pretty obvious. She was a great social player, gaining everyone's trust early and ensuring that no matter what, she wouldn't be the person voted out by being liked and good with everyone. She sussed out Phil as the millionaire when everyone else was targeting Lauren and Sydnee, and ultimately threw the challenge to drag her goats to the final three, playing in a pretty savage way to make me feel like even though I do feel like the show put the money in Kara's box because they wanted her to win, she did earn the win in the end, especially after they did pretty much expose her for being the millionaire with the thread challenge results. Overall, I feel like she's a great, deserving winner. And I'd love to see her again at some point for a follow-up about how this money changed her life. Now that the show's over, I have thoughts, and I fear I must go off. Firstly, you'll never convince me that the millionaire is selected at random. There needs to be a better way to do it, whether it's by players drawing rocks that we can see, or a little competition to secretly earn the power. There has to be a better way to decide the millionaire at any given time than the producers just putting it wherever they feel like it. The clues given in the trophy room are too inconsistent and sometimes so damning, especially what they did to Phil with the scream clue was just plain wrong. If the money moves around every 2 rounds, the first round should have a clue that narrows things down. Maybe they can pick a team and find out if the millionaire was on that team, which would narrow things down, and in the second round, they could get to pick a box from the remaining people who aren't clear and find out if that person is the millionaire or not, like they did when Corey cleared Jamie. That would be consistent, fair, and allows for different situations to happen. I enjoy that only one player gets the clue in the trophy room, but that should also be decided by rock draw, as we never saw the millionaire get picked for that position. I also like the roundtable discussion at the end of every episode, as well as there being, for the most part, an elimination for every episode released, and not a lot of funny business with cliffhangers between episode drops. And I liked how they decided a winner in the end. It felt fair, and there was genuinely a way for anyone in the final 3 to win the game. And finally, our host Peter, who over time I gained respect for and found to be funny, only to find out now that he's a comedian, and now I'm convinced that he was playing a character this whole time, who I could still call Fancy Pants, which makes it all more camp and funny. My final review is that this show is extremely entertaining and worth the watch. This is the best social strategy show that Netflix has put out ever, in my opinion, though it's imperfect and some tweaks could be made to allow for a bit more fairness and less production interference. Not only would I like to see more seasons of this show, but I'd like to see them make more shows like this. And this got me really excited for Battle Camp, which I've also decided to recap. So if you like these videos, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back later this month with Battle Camp. I'm also recapping the Challenge All-Stars and Survivor 48. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode, the eliminated players, and Kara's win. I'll be there to chat with you. Until next time, you know where to find me. Bye.